long view on everything. He'd just be pretty even-keeled overall, but I think it's impossible to say it's just another Wednesday. There's no way, to me, he just saw this as another game. Now, again, you can talk about the way he played and whether he played any differently, and I would say generally he's played the same way he's played all year. But did the game mean less to him than other games, or more than, I would say more versus less.
His actions don't match his words. He snubbed Kerr at the end of the game.
Bingo.
Okay.
Very good.
So he didn't embrace Kerr, shake his hand, anything after the game. He walked away from him. How about during the 48 minutes?
Oh, I thought he played well. He was.
So I didn't ask, did he play well or not?
Oh.
Same.
Did it feel like it was special for him?
No.
It was just another.
It was just another game.
It was another good game.
Yeah.
I mean, he was good.
Yeah.
He was good.
But did you sense any extra urgency?
No.
Any extra edge?
No.
Any extra anything?
No.
And again, that wasn't say he was bad. He wasn't. Obviously, helped bring him back in the third quarter. So
not that he would be again. Not that he would be.
He did play like it was just another Wednesday. I will say that.
Yeah, not that he would be overly demonstrative. That's not what he does. But it just felt like this was just any other game. There was no snarl to his game. Maybe an extra oomph on a dunk, anything like that. I didn't see that. So
there definitely wasn't.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be surprised by that. And if you were listening to us yesterday, we talked about it for most of the day. If you're expecting that thing, and I think you were, I'm talking to the fans.
I was.
And the media.
Or I wanted it, is what I should say.
You were going to be disappointed. It's just not who he is. And proudly so. And I would say stubbornly so. He's just not going to give you that. And so you didn't get that from Jayson Tatum. You got another good game. You got another good team game with, flashes of individual brilliance. And you got a Jayson Tatum game, which is a good thing. But you didn't get that other thing that you were looking for or that was promoted and that was billed. Then, and let's face it, is really, I would say, like the backbone of the whole repeat. One of the things that makes you believe it's such a strong chance that you repeat is the motivation the team is going to have, these individual motivations that Tatum has for being snubbed and Jaylen Brown has for being snubbed. It's like the backbone of a lot of the belief in the team. Like, how come they're not going to, you ask, why are they not going to have the championship hangover? How come they're not going to fall prey to the things that have happened to recent champions who've sort of lost the edge in year two and failed to repeat? Why are they different? Answer: Jayson Tatum snub at the Olympics, Jaylen Brown snub by Nike and USA Basketball, and these individual motivations are going to drive the team. That's what a lot of people believe is going to make the Celtics different. So here's like the prime example. Here's the prime chance for it, and I don't think it moved the needle for Tatum. I don't think he choked. I don't think he underperformed. I think he gave you a classic, high-end, MVP caliber Jayson Tatum performance. But I did not feel that there was any extra in his play. I don't. I feel it seeped out post-game when he refused to talk to Steve Kerr, walked away from Steve Kerr, wouldn't embrace him. I think he sort of betrayed himself a little bit in the post-game. Again, that was the first sort of question that he got about the game. It wasn't on my mind, just another Wednesday and all of that. But then as he was pushed a little bit, I think it just came out. Like, just give me number two, Jimmy. Tatum number two.
How have you taken yourself through this process?
That's part of this job. That's what I've been dealing with my entire career. People want me to be, louder. People want me to be mean or whatever. One thing about Jayson is, like, I'm always going to do what the I want to do and approach things how I want to approach it and what I feel is sincere to who I am as a person. And not that it comes from a bad place. Some people, sometimes it comes from a good place. And, but people react differently, or it's easy to say, like, if they were in my shoes, what they would do. So, I appreciate when it comes from a good place. But like I said, I'm always going to react, respond, approach things the way I want to.
So I respect the whole way he carries himself. He's not going to be a phony. He's going to be who he is, and he articulates it well. I have no problem with it. He's one of the best players on the planet, and he's won a championship and is a favorite to do another. So, I mean, what else would you want? Except if you did want him to show that thing on the court, you're just going to be disappointed. That's not who he is. But the fact that it did mean a little more. I think he's betrayed by the fact he swears.
He drops an F-bomb in there.
And he refers himself in the third person, which I haven't heard him do a ton. Maybe he has, and I've missed it, but I don't hear it very often.
No, it's because it doesn't happen often.
One thing about being Jayson, I'm going to do what the F I want to do. Like, that's sort of that tells you there's a little edge in there somewhere. But he's just not going to show it on the court unless it's to the refs. He's not going to do it to the opponent. He's not going to give the fans what they want or the hype complex what it wants. He's going to carry himself the way he wants to carry himself.
Definitely.
And we saw it again last night.
Look, he's a really likable guy. Like I don't think anyone would dispute that. He's a likable guy. He feels like a good person. But there are times where you do look at him and just wonder why is the anger only the thing about the referees is fascinating in its own right.
It's been there since day one, though.
Right. Like he has hostility towards the refs.
Got another tech last night.
So it's in him. It's just a matter of who it's directed at.
The refs, but not the opponent. It's just what it's going to be.
Yeah, it's just, so he respects the other people too much to do it to them, but he doesn't respect the refs.
Okay, so the whole Tatum angle is interesting to me, and his comments after the game are interesting to me, and that whole thing, 617-779-0985, the game. So it was billed, and it was promoted, rightfully so, as Tatum's revenge tour, Tatum versus Kerr. Right, this is the way NBC Sports Boston promoted the game for weeks. Kerr, Tatum. Who won last night?
Kerr
did.
Go ahead, Murray.
I gained a lot more respect for the Warriors, who I just thought were kind of cooked and done. And, the knock on them has been like 5 of their 6 wins so far against sub-500 teams. That's maybe their best win of the season, but they're like in the mix in the West now. I left that feeling like, they're not done. They could still, be a contending team this year.
So the big thing to me, too, is the way they played Tatum. That, they double-teamed him just about every time. And they got the ball out of his hands early, quick. So that it wasn't a situation where I think Tatum had 2 assists in the game. I mean, he had the ball constantly. They scored 112. It's not like they scored 80. And he had 2 assists because they get the ball out of his hands early.
They trapped him. They blitzed him. They were handsy. You could tell he was frustrated early.
So I think it was Kerr saying, that, they really got one guy right now that I'm worried about. Because Brown's out, Porzingis is out. I'm going to get the ball out of his hands early. He's going to get his, but I'm not going to let him beat me, and I'm not going to let him beat me by facilitating with other guys. Derek White almost beat him. But I think that they get the ball out of his hands early, and they said, let the other 4 guys on the floor beat us. Their defense, Golden State's defense, was excellent.
Did you have a thought, Jimmy Stewart?
It was a Steve Kerr night. Credit to him. I think he's overrated as a coach, but you know what? The team played for him. And the blitzing of Tatum was just it was Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr was amped up for this game. Jayson Tatum was not, and that was a difference.
So I think this meant something to the Warriors.
It did.
Yeah. Whether it was defending Kerr against Tatum, maybe that's part of it, or the Warriors are just trying to reestablish themselves.
Well, and I think to that point, Mike, Buddy Hield is such an upgrade over Klay Thompson on the offensive and defensive side of the basketball. It's such like a little detail, but Klay Thompson was nothing for them for years, and now they have players who can do more than just that.
That's the other thing that stood out to me. He's a great pickup for them.
But to me, the story of the night from a national perspective was the Warriors. And I got a lot of respect for that outfit, including the coach, and obviously starting with Steph Curry. It'd be really easy for that team just to sort of coast off into the sunset.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And maybe they will. I don't know. It's a snapshot. It's a daily talk show. This is what we saw last night.
They'll be there in June.
Well, let's see. But certainly it looks this way right now, that they are not just going to coast into their post-championship years and play out the string and collect their checks and just play it out. It feels like they've reimagined the entire team. And obviously Curry and Durant, Draymond Green are still there, and Looney, and there's still some pieces in Kerr, but like that was a tenacious defensive team.
Tremendous.
And Joe Murray said it before the game, like they're the number 1 3-point defense in the league. So that wasn't just you. This is how they're playing now. So like I feel like they've kind of reimagined the whole outfit.
I agree.
It's not just the Splash Brothers and run and gun. They're going to dig in defensively. They played like 11 guys, which I guess is what he's doing.
How many offensive rebounds did they have too? Like they attack, they're relentless.
So they're playing like this relentless defense, this relentless off ball sort of thing or loose ball thing. Like they won the loose ball battle, especially late against you. The offensive rebound battle, like
They cut to the basket constantly.
The key to the end sequences there was Looney on loose balls or loose change around the rim. Payton dove on the floor ahead of Holiday on one sequence and got it. So, like, they've kind of, like, it felt a little Miami Heat-ish to me. And I give Kerr and Curry and that whole operation a lot of credit. Like, they're not done. And maybe they are, because I don't know if they have enough horses.
Well, there's a rumor floating around now. It was last night that they're going to make an offer for Giannis.
I wouldn't want him.
Oh.
I wouldn't want Giannis there. Why?
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think he works with Curry.
I don't know if that's a fit.
Giannis has gotten too selfish. Giannis would have to go there with a massive attitude adjustment.
He'd be good. Their culture would be good for him.
Well, I mean, anyway, right. So, where was I?
So the
Warriors program is in a good spot.
I'll add
right
one
now.
more thing that you're talking about to me that's an indication that they've been sort of rebuilt and recharged.
I just have a lot of respect for it because they could coast off into the sunset. They've won their championships. Curry's proven himself post Durant, Kevin Durant. So it's like Curry is that the way he played overseas was like through the roof. Like Curry has nothing left to prove. He's won with Durant, without Durant, as the number one guy, as the number two. Like, there's nothing left. Same with Steve Kerr. He's won it with the best team, with probably less than the best team. Nothing left to prove. And it doesn't feel like they're done. And they've reimagined the team, and looks like they're going to be back at it. And I got a lot of respect for that. Like, a team like the Bucks is already done. I think the Nuggets might already be done. Jokic might be like, I want it. I want to go home. That's it. Like, and the Warriors, they're not going away. Like, and the coach is a part of that. And you got to tip your cap to Kerr because he has him playing a different way. And it's the way to play to beat you. You know, you got to get in your face.
You got to defend the line.
And you got to defend the line. And you got to dive on the floor, and you got to do those things that the Heat did. And I felt like the Warriors looked that way to me last night.
They totally did. Again, and look, this is their first, they mentioned this on the broadcast. It's their first stretch of games where they're starting to see some real teams. They got off to a good start. They were 6-1. Now they're going to see Oklahoma City. I think there's one
Cleveland
other one
next.
in there. Cleveland, who's unbeaten, obviously. So this is sort of their are we for real or are we not for real stage. They go up, they beat the Celtics last night. And the other thing to me that sticks out, Draymond Green's in better shape. He didn't look nearly as fat as he did a yeyear ago. Seriously, did you? It was one of the first things I noticed.
He looks lean.
I looked at him and went, "Holy smokes! He lost 20 pounds at least, maybe more." He and as an aside, there's someone else in the league I noticed this about too. But we'll do it during Mazz's tears. But Draymond Green is in better shape. He's taking it seriously.
So I just think the mettle of that team, I just respect. And they have it. And so, by the way, it wasn't just how they came out. I mean, they definitely set the tone and came out on you, but you were up 7 with the ball with 6-something left. So it wasn't like you had the game.
Well, it was shades of Game 4 of the finals a couple of years ago.
It was.
And they made the plays and you didn't. And I don't think it was about you. I don't think you played horrible. I just think the Warriors are back at it. Credit to them. They don't have to be. And Curry's still that guy.
It's a better league when they're good.
It's a better product to watch a real competitive game.
Yeah.
And I thought you stood up to it. Like, they're at that portion of the game when you're up 7 with the ball, it's like, all right, the Warriors gave you their best shot. They really took it to you. You pushed through it, and you're going to win this ball game. It was going to be a good win for you. And I still think the thing could have gone either way. I think it was a lot of the loose ball stuff that lost it for you late. But either way, it was a good product.
If you like that clip, check out more videos from Felger and Mazz here. For more Celtics analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.